Welcome back to the show. We got another great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com. DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.43 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 2.6. Bitcoin holding 108,000 plus, very strong now. Ethereum holding the 2,500 pretty strong last couple days here. XRP number 4 spot's 228. Now we're up 0.7 on the 24, and we're up 4.7 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range of price. We're ranging between 225 and 230. If I'm not mistaken, XRP looked like it is waking up this morning on this Monday. And I hope everybody in the U.S. had a wonderful, happy, and safe 4th of July. Super excited about what's to come in this space and beyond for this country. But I want to remind everybody that Connor Grogan, a director of America's biggest crypto exchange, Coinbase, suggested there's a chance the $8.6 billion worth of Bitcoin that was moved was caused by a hack that might set a new heist record. Now, when you go into this, it says the Bitcoin has been moved in the wallet, but still remains in the wallet at this point, and they're not sure if it's a hacker testing it with limited ability to move the assets. But this is very, very scary one way or the other, and we're waiting to get a definitive answer on this. It's not definitive in this article. So whether this is a hack or whether someone's private keys were compromised, I don't know. But this is why iTrustCapital has come together to create PCAs, premium custody accounts. And the reason they created these as a closed loop system, and by the way, if you're a new customer, you can get a $100 funding bonus. Institutional grade custody for free, low cost, no monthly fee. There's 1% trading fee. Now, this is a closed loop system because when you go out of this account, you have to go back to cash. And that is so you can't have a hacker, whether it's a SIM swap or whether it's a phishing email or a text or a phone call. If it's a mistake, the worst thing that could happen is that the crypto gets cashed out of your PCA and sent directly to your bank account. That's what a closed system is meant to do here, is to try to act as a really secure way of making sure that, God forbid, if you are hacked through your phone or email or whatever it is, that the worst thing that could happen is that the hacker could cash out your crypto to your checking account in cash. And then you could reestablish that position from there. Because if it was left in crypto, it wouldn't be a closed loop system because they could simply send the crypto to their account and 100 other accounts after that. So if you don't move your assets, you're a long-time holder, this is something you're going to want to take a real serious look at. Go to itrustcapital.com/XRPArmy, use the code at the bottom, XRP6, and take advantage of setting up this closed loop system so you don't have to go to bed worrying about what's going on with my crypto. You'll know it's absolutely safe. I want to cover this again because it's a big deal. Mercado Bitcoin, which is the largest platform in all of Latin America. Oh yeah, over 4 million customers. This is really amazing. Tokenizing $200 million in real world assets. Oh, you guessed it, on the Bitcoin ledger. Or excuse me, the XRP ledger. I said Bitcoin ledger, but I meant to say XRP ledger. And you know, Bitcoin has been on the XRP ledger since 2014. There's Mercado right there, the largest digital asset investment platform in Latin America for 12 years now. Over 4 million clients, as I mentioned. And what do we see not only in Latin America, the tokenization of real-world assets on the ledger? European Central Bank, ladies and gentlemen, has officially chosen the XRP ledger for its 12-month digital euro project pilot. Launching June of 2025, it's already underway. That's what we're talking about. So listen, real token built on the XRP ledger is positioned to move 654 $0.39 trillion in global real estate value. I don't know about that, and I don't know anything about that, but what I can tell you is it's very real that the ECB is doing a pilot, and it is already underway using the XRP ledger in part. And I love that. So Latin America's tokenizing real world assets on the XRP ledger. ECB is piloting the XRP ledger. And here we have the conversations going on at home. Senator Cynthia Lummis talking to Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell. Take a listen.
So now, Chairman Powell, I want to show you another statement, and I'm sorry if you can't see it clearly, I'll read it to you. It's from the Genius Act, which just passed the Senate by a vote of 68 to 30 last week. And it takes the opposite position to the board's policy statement on issuing stablecoins on an open, public, distributed ledger. So my question is, what has changed about the risk of stablecoins since the board adopted its policy in 2023? And now that the Congress has weighed in, at least the Senate has weighed in and sent the Genius Act to the House, does the board plan to withdraw the policy statement on Section 913?
So I think what has changed is, if you go back, that's a couple of years ago, that was the period of high-profile failures and fraud and that kind of thing. And what's happened is, I think, the industry is maturing, our understanding of it is improving, and in a sense, it's becoming much more mainstream. So all of us are revisiting, the things that were done during that era, and I think the current view is that, that it's appropriate it's always been appropriate for banks to choose their customers and to be able to undertake activities as long as they're safe and sound.
There you have it. That is Senator Lummis really pushing the Fed chair to acknowledge that they need to change their language in their rule book to make sure that there's no hindrance and nothing stopping where we're going with this legislation, which is moving very quickly now. And we see here we have a couple big weeks in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto week starting July 14th. And we know it's a big week this week too, but nonetheless, and by the way, just as a reminder, we got Brad Garlinghouse testifying in front of Congress this week on market structure. Isn't that fitting? Clarity Act, crypto rules, anti-CBDC Surveillance Act, Genius Act, Innovation Boost. It's all in line to pass this year. Meanwhile, here, House Chair just said Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill is happening in 2 weeks. Listen to Representative French Hill right here.
In the middle of making crypto policy for the United States of America. You have an upcoming crypto week. Tell us about that.
Well, right now, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and everything related to using financial payments on a blockchain is basically not regulated, not clear to consumers, investors, entrepreneurs how to use it, how to avoid federal prosecution. So in 2 weeks, we'll bring to the House floor the Clarity Act, which gives the rules of the road of how to invest in digital assets, how to trade them, how you can be a broker, and the market framework for digital assets. And we'll also bring to the House floor dollar-backed payment stablecoins, which we believe those two things will advance America's power around the world in financial services by extending the middle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. By extending dollar dominance, you better believe it. Trillions of dollars are coming into crypto starting the next couple of weeks because we're going to get the legislation that start to be passed and then signed into law. So this is getting super exciting. I mean, this is a moment that is absolutely historic here. Again, a reminder that Brad Garlinghouse will testify at the U.S. Senate crypto hearing this Wednesday, July 9th, in just 2 days. This isn't just about Ripple. It's about XRP entering the heart of the U.S. financial policy and system. I think Pompeius has got it right here. It's absolutely spot on. This is very, very exciting because I think all of us know listening, and if you don't, let me help you. We're waiting for legislation to become law because that is the catalyst for the assets and protocols that have utility that solve a real problem for the financial industry and beyond. And it will take this legislation becoming law to realize that goal. Ripple stablecoin Real USD is now accepted as collateral at Hidden Road, enabling real-time cross-market trading for institutions. This is 24/7, and this is collateral. It will not, listen, Brad Garlinghouse just announced in Singapore at a conference that Ripple stablecoin Real USD will now be accepted as collateral for all services at Hidden Road. For all services at Hidden Road. Real USD resides on the XRP ledger. Now let me hit you with this one more. Remember this? Remember when Hidden Road got the license to participate in DTCC netting system, which is clearing and settlement? Of government securities? Yeah. Chad Steingraber's got it right. He said, like I said, we're coming for that 100 trillion. You better believe we are. That 100 trillion that Dan Dunney told us at the DTCC that they can tokenize without question from anyone. But they settle over 2 quadrillion a year. And Hidden Road and Real USD can be used for collateral for every single action if they choose to. And all of that will be happening on the XRP ledger because that's where the Real USD resides. Come on in. And the Ethereum network, let's not forget that. So with that, let's all stay positive. There's big things coming. And take a look at this from Diana right here. XRP, biggest wealth transfer of our lifetime. The old money system is crumbling. And XRP may be one of the one token plugged into what's next. Not hype, not dreams, but rails, rules, and real world use. And that's absolutely how I see it. And you can see the upside that's waiting for everyone here. XRP isn't anti-bank. It's the upgrade banks need. This is exactly how I see it. While other tokens fight banks, XRP is working with them. Replace SWIFT, runs 24/7, costs pennies, finalize payments in 3 seconds. This isn't DeFi chaos. It's Wall Street infrastructure rebuilt. Old money moves like dial-up. Try sending 10K abroad via your bank. Takes 3 to 5 days. Fees up to $50. Risk delay or failure. 3 seconds for try using XRP. 3 seconds, less than 1 penny. Global reach, 24/7 from your phone. This is what money in real time looks like. She's absolutely right. This is what's going on. We know the SEC case is basically over. We're just waiting for the final foot to drop there. Ripple applying for a bank license, U.S. bank license, Real USD stablecoin coming. CBDC pilots plus tokenized real estate on the way. The utility is here. The price just hasn't caught up. And that's exactly how I see it as well. Charts are primed for liftoff. Reclaim 100-day moving average. Testing key resistance at 240. Next breakout target's 345.20. Volume is rising. Sentiment is shifting. There you go. All it needs now is a trigger, and I think that trigger is legislation. And it could be other things that contribute as well. But legislation, for me, is the big one. We get legislation signed and become law, what's left to talk about? At that point, it becomes really fun to watch. Look, it's not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the Freedom Zone today, and you can join us in the Freedom Zone by clicking the join button under any title on YouTube, or go into the description box and join us on Patreon. You can also get the same extra content on X as well if you want it. So make sure you go there to get it. Either one of those places, same price, same perks. All your daily videos that I put out, 0 Google ads. And that in itself is worth the price of admission, which is the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And today we're going to go in and we're going to talk about Diddy, and we're going to talk about Hump Island and Epstein and all the dirty business that just started to unfold. I hope you will join us. I'll see you inside. Come on in. All right.